There are very kind people in the pen world, and one of those people is Roger. Roger has sent me a couple of pens in the past because he was thinning out his collection. And he asked me, well, he didn't ask me to review them, he said, here, you see what you do with these. And the fun thing is, today we'll look at a pen by St. Dupont. And Dupont is a popular brand. I get a lot of review requests for Dupont pens. It's not necessarily my brand, but what I mean by that is these are not necessarily pens I would immediately purchase. I'm not really attracted to St. Dupont pens, but that's a personal preference. What I will say is, the Duponts I have used have all had exceptionally smooth nibs. Very, very pleasant writers. So I'm quite excited to offer you this today. Very fascinating little pen, interesting design. I'm going to cover the parts of this pen. I'll do a writing sample. I'll tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it. But first of all, a very warm thank you to Roger, because I really do appreciate it. I mean, this is also, it's not a $5 pen, so the fact you give it to me, that's really, really kind of you. So, thank you very much. Let's get started. Okay, let's have a look at the St. Dupont Olympio. And this is not just any Olympio, this is the Palladium and Blue Rubber Olympio. I'm going to cover the parts of the pen first. I don't know why I did that, sorry. Here we have the top of the cap, finial, very interesting clip design, and this clip is spring loaded, which is kind of nice. So hence this interesting design. Then you have this blue ring here, which is a type of rubber, and the pen has this little sort of clasp, I guess. I am not sure if St. Dupont had the idea that this pen was to be worn around the neck on a lanyard or something. You can, it caps securely, so I think the possibility of losing your pen is rather small. I don't know if anyone would buy an St. Dupont and then carry it around their neck. So I had to take a sip of water there. But I suppose it is an option. Interesting design choice, but it's there. Clip has a little blue square on it, which kind of matches these rubber rings. The center band is another bit of rubber, and then below that here you have the St. Dupont Paris logo. I like this groove, nice line, has a nice shape, looks kind of cool. So here we have more Palladium Barrel. It's a brushed finish, so there is almost some texture to it, catches the light rather nicely, and it does have, I mean, it's smooth, but it's not mirror smooth, so you feel that because of that brushed finish there is a little bit of texture to it, which is rather pleasant. End cap, shiny material, rather nice. The cap pops off very smoothly, clicks in place very securely, and there we have it. Section is rubberized, just like the two parts of the cap. Tapers down and then has this interesting shape right there, which I've seen on more St. Dupont pens, and a little lip there to keep the cap in place. The nib, St. Dupont, marked with the D for Dupont, 18 karat 750, so 750 gold content, M for medium, and at the bottom there is something, I think it's a hallmark, and has this scroll work, which is rather nice. It's an interesting pen. Interesting size too. It's a bit thin, on the thin side of things. The section is rather comfortable to hold because of that rubberized material, and it's not the type of soft rubber, so you can't really pinch it between your fingers. It's a very nice, tight band they put around this. Pen is fed by Cartridge Converter. The converter is actually labeled, engraved St. Dupont Paris again, so nice eye for detail. Even though it's probably just a Schmidt converter, because they pretty much all are, but they took the time to label that, which is nice. Barrel screws in place very securely. It's almost like there is a rubber ring on the inside of the barrel or something, because this is really tight and this will not easily unscrew by accident, which is bonus points. I mean, often with metal barrels you can accidentally unscrew them, but you really need to exert some pressure here, which is nice. So as I said, a slightly thinner pen, but it posts really securely and quite deeply, so you have a very nicely sized pen that I think is very pleasant to use. It posts so deeply that it almost looks a bit weird when you post it, I thought, given how long that the barrel is and how much of it disappears when you post it. Let's have a look at how the pen writes. Oh, before I forget, not unimportant. Here you have the pen. The nice thing is you can really put that down and it won't roll because of that little clasp. The pen right, and of course then it rolls over, the pen next to a Lamy Safari. So about the same length, but especially near the end a little thinner. Okay, see how it writes. As I said, had good experience with ST Dupont pens, and here we have the Is it Dupont with a large P? No, I forgot. I don't think it is. Sorry. It is the Olympio. If you don't mind, I'm going to forget about palladium, rubber and all that. It is a 18K medium nib, and the ink is Aurora und Klinger Scabiosa, which is an iron gall ink. Oh my god, iron gall! Will you destroy the pen? No. Full stop. Okay, right. Smooth nib. Pleasant writer. I rather like it. Fast writing. Very nicely tuned, no real skips that I can discern. Wetness, pretty good. Nice, fairly wet writer. As always, very, very careful. Line variation, tiny, tiny bit. So don't expect much. Reverse writing gets a bit sharper, but you can make the pen write a bit more thinly. Another kind thank you to Roger. Okay, that was the parts, how it writes. Let's see what I like about it and what I not like about it. Okay, what do I like and what do I not like about the ST Dupont Olympio? There's a couple of things I really like. It's an interesting nib shape, for starters. That is something that I have always enjoyed about ST Dupont. It's not just the nib when you look at it from the top, but at the side you have this cute little sort of clover leaf type cutout, which I think is very nice. So that's cool. You buy a pen to write with it, and one thing I will say about ST Dupont is the ones I have used or tried out have all written beautifully, and this is no exception. Smooth, nice writer, not a gusher, but very well tuned. It writes very pleasantly, and I think it's just a very, very nice writing instrument. The price of these, as I understand it, now unfortunately it's no longer really available, at least I couldn't really find a shop that had them on a larger scale, was about $630. And these days you can often find them a bit more cheaply online, on eBay and such. At some point I saw one that was about $300. It was pre-owned, but still, that's not terrible when you look at the average ST Dupont pen, some of which are 4,000, 5,000 euros. So I mean, this is really not that bad. The pen feels solid. It wrote exceptionally well out of the box, as I said, and it's this clasp. It's not my favorite design element. I don't particularly care for it, but it is a very nice roll stopper on a desk. I will say that about it. So you have a pen that feels solid, that writes very well, and this is a thing. I don't really see the point. Again, I wonder if they really thought you would carry this on a lanyard around your neck, but there is that. Things I don't like so much, well, I have found there is a little ridge on the section, as you can see there. Sometimes a bit of ink gets stuck under there when you dunk it into ink to ink it up. That is not ideal. But of course you can wipe that down with a piece of cloth or something. That's not a big deal. I think the biggest issue with this pen, and that is very subjective, is that this design is not for everyone. I see the Palladium, I sort of see the rubber rings like this, but once that little clasp comes into place, I don't know. I was unable to find a clear website or a listing or something that explained what ST Dupont was thinking. If it was a reference to something, I couldn't really find it. But it's, for sure, it's different. Let's put it that way. Having said all of that, a very lovely gift from Roger, and I really appreciate it. I did want to review it. I actually was at a pen meet recently where someone had the exact same pen, so that was fun. So it appeals to people. It appeals to some people for sure. I think that's very neat. And as I said, a lovely writer. So the bottom line, a lovely writer. You will probably have to get it pre-owned if you want one, but that is possible. Very good writer. And as ST Dupont goes, I think a pretty fair price for what they do. And that's all there's to it. So, I hope this was useful, and I'm glad to see you later. Bye bye.
Bye.